As a student of history, I often think about which event in our past I would have liked to have witnessed. Kriyat Yamsuf, the fall of the walls of Yericho, David and Goliath, or maybe to be able to have sat at the feet of Rashi, the Rambam, the Vilna Gaon. And then I realized that in order to have been able to do that, I wouldn't have been able to live in the greatest of all generations. And that's the life that I am living right now. We live in a generation of divine chesed, of unprecedented knowledge. I want to tell you something that I rarely share in public. I have Crohn's disease. At the age of 31, a surgery that I had went south, and a week after the surgery, I started eating solid food and my intestines exploded, and within the hour, I needed emergency surgery. During the surgery, the anesthesiologist, who was a close friend of the family, went out to tell my wife that he didn't think that I was going to make it. Baruch Hashem, 31 years later, and a few surgeries, I stand before you now at a Shalvim talk. I'm alive. I'm alive and living a life that is amazing. I have 6 amazing children, and we just had our 23rd grandchild. This isn't all of them. And Baruch Hashem, my life's fantastic. The greatest proof of God is the history of the Jewish people. We, by all logic, should not be here. That's wrong. By all logic, we should not be here, but we are. As you know, you may know, I take groups of students, adults, around the world, different places. And a few years ago, I took a group of second-year Shalvim students, Shana Bet students, on a tour of Jewish Italy. And as we were standing in front of the Arch of Titus, we started to sing V'li Yerushalayim Yircha, and I spoke to Titus. And I said, Titus, Titus, Eifo ata ve'eifo ani. Titus, look at you and look at me. Great Roman Empire, where are you? You tried to destroy the Jewish people. You tried to exile them from the holy city. Where are you now? And look at me. I live in the greatest country in the world. I live in Medinat Yisrael. There are certain people that learn from the past, and there are others that yearn for the future. But the greatest moment in every person's life is right now. The powerful enemies that try to exterminate us are no longer here, but we are here. My wife works in the city of David. As our children got married and I was Masada Kedushin for them, I asked her to try and see if she could get some ashes to put on the heads of the Chatan, as is the custom. So she went to ask one of the archaeologists in Ir David if she could get some ashes. And he said, sure. Which do you want, Bayit Rishon or Bayit Sheni? Titus, you tried to destroy the holy city. From those same ashes, I put on the heads of a chatan and a kala. Today, this is happening right before our eyes. Children are playing in the streets of Yerushalayim, like the fulfillment of the words of the Navi, that children will play once again in the streets of Yerushalayim. Never before in human history has a people that has been dispersed from their land for 2,000 years come from all four corners of the world back to their original land. That is happening right now before our eyes. From France to Australia, from Canada to Chile, from India to Ethiopia, the Jews are coming back to Eretz Yisrael. Kibbutz Galuyot is the greatest miracle in human history. The Jews are coming back. We're 8.5 million Jews now, and we're growing. Never before in human history has a language that has never been spoken for 2,000 years been revived and spoken once again. That's happening right now before our eyes. There's more Torah being learnt in Eretz Yisrael now than at any point in human history. That's happening now before our eyes. Most people know about the high-speed train that's being built, actually passes by Shalvim. It'll take, to be ready by Pesach, it'll take from Tel Aviv to Yerushalayim 25 minutes. Most people don't know that the plans are already in the works for that train to continue 80 meters under the ground all the way to the Kotel and to Ir David. The Jerusalem cable car is going to be ready even before that. It's going to go from the King David Hotel till the Kotel Ir David, all the way up to Har HaZeitim. 3,000 people an hour. The 6-lane highway to Yerushalayim from Tel Aviv is already in operation. These are things of the Geula. They are happening right now before our eyes. The Navi Yirmiyah says that the time will come when Klal Yisrael will no longer thank Hashem for taking us out of the land of Egypt. We will thank Hashem for taking us out of all the lands that He dispersed us to from all the four corners of the world. That's happening now, before our eyes. In one sense, today's miracles are greater than the miracles in the past, because these miracles are mine. These miracles are happening in my lifetime. I am living them. I am witnessing them. I am a part of them. And that's why they're great. According to the Gemara in Sanhedrin, man was created alone to show man that he is unique and one of a kind. Never before in human history was there ever someone exactly like me. Each and every single person has to believe that and proclaim that. Never before, from the beginning of time until the end of time, was there anyone ever like me, with the same parents, born in the same community, in the same generation, with the same strengths, with the same weaknesses, with the same trials and difficulties as me. Never before and never again. And if that is the case, I have a special job which only I can do. And if I don't do that job, no one else will. No one else will, because no one else can. Only I can do it. It's a job that was given only to me. And that realization that I, all of us, each and every one of us, has this special job, and we are special and unique, gives us inspiration, because we have to do it. The key to inspiration is in a word. This whole evening has been about inspiration. How do we do it? How do we instill inspiration in ourselves, in our children, in our communities? In a word, gratitude. To give thanks to Hashem. To give thanks to history. To thank history, not the history of the past, the history of the present. The history that's happening right now before our eyes. The history that is mine. History is his story. Each and every person has his own story, his own history that he's making and he is witnessing and he is a part of. We would love to have a God who inspires us constantly. We would love to have a God who we could just sit back and say, God, inspire me. We would love to be able to press a button and get instant inspiration. But it doesn't work that way. We have to inspire ourselves. If we don't turn on the ignition, the engine won't start. We have to do it. And we inspire ourselves by giving gratitude to Hashem. Thanking Hashem for where we are living and what we are doing and what we are accomplishing and witnessing and being part of the door of the Geula. We express our thanks to Hashem. We daven, we bench. Everybody asks us, and we always say many times during the day, Baruch Hashem, but yet we feel uninspired. And I think that besides those important things, we have to do one other thing that's really, very, very important. And it connects to what Rabbi Liebtag said. I think we have to speak to Hashem directly, aloud, in our own words. No one else has to hear it. It's between us and Hashem, and it's really almost between us and us. To give thanks to Hashem and say out loud. To think and then thank. No one else has to hear it. We say it out loud so we hear it. I thank Hashem that I'm alive. I thank Hashem that I'm alive, able to enjoy and live life with my wife, my children, my grandchildren, and be in a generation that I can witness and be part of the Geula that's happening in front of our eyes. Expressing our thanks to Hashem aloud will inspire us and help us not only to have seen the beginning of the Geula, but hopefully also to get closer to the end of the Geula. We search for passion and fire in our lives. The fire is in the history. The history is our own. Thank you.